All right, everyone, welcome back to episode 3 of Quick Fix. I am Chris P, and I am joined by Doug Censor himself. What's up, Doug?
It's a pleasure, Chris. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. It's good to have you in the facility. I know that you're here and there, but whenever you're here, you know, it's a celebration. Everyone in the place is super excited to see Doug. He always has a smile on his face.
It's your accent right now, man. Like, what is this? You just flip the switch. Like, off camera, he has his little Boston accent that comes out every now and then, but once the camera starts rolling, bam, hard Boston accent.
So some could, debate that maybe it's fake. Maybe I'm faking this accent.
No, I think you're just excited.
I am excited. When I get excited, it comes out. After a couple drinks, it comes out, But I dial it back a little bit. But how's everything been going? How's Scrim's been going? I know you just had an unfortunate match going into the playoffs in the Elite. How's everything going? You have a roster change now. You now have Pentagram on the team instead of Ben. Talk to me a little bit. What's going on?
So I got absolutely tucked, and I costed my team playoffs. And I say that with a lot of confidence because every day we get on and we practice, and practice goes great. Honestly, it's a breath of fresh air. Honestly, because for the longest time in my career, for the most part, my teams, myself, I've always been okay and like whatever in practice. And then I go into a tournament and, I've made my career off of playing well in a tournament. And then this time around, like it was the complete opposite. It was kind of funny for me because I always would make fun of players for playing better in practice than they do in tournaments. And here I am, like literally with the spotlight on and everyone watching, just playing like absolute trash when it matters most. And it's obviously disappointing, and no one's more disappointed than me, I promise you. But when I see what I see every day in practice and I see the way that I'm transitioning into a new role, like I'm going from basically the fastest player on the team to the slowest player on the team after doing it my whole life this one way to change it, I believe it will take time, but it's nothing that I can't do, and it's nothing that I don't want to do. Like, I was the one who proposed to our team. So, like, just to give a little bit of backstory here, just to fill you guys in a little bit, obviously Ben Beans was our teammate on the academy roster. Method's retired, right? We all know this now. He's on the main team with the boys, but we needed a replacement for Ben. So a conversation we all had to have was who was going to replace Ben and how do we want to see the direction with our team to go. So we could always obviously just replace Ben with another AR player, keep the same team, keep it going as it was, because the team has been proven since last year to be a good team of 3. But I was like, dude, honestly, guys, like, I feel like I should just run the AR and we should just get Pentagram, because Pentagram came off of a bad placing with his team, and I know that there was a lot of problems with the team he was on because our friend Dan Ghosty was on the team as well, and he would tell me literally, like, Dan tells me everything about his life, so I know everything about those guys there, and I always thought very highly of Pentagram, and I was like, you know what, I think he could be an amazing sub for our team with Kyle, and if it doesn't work with me on the AR, Kyle can run it too. But after practice, it was kind of a no-brainer for me to run the AR, if I'm being honest, and it's very unfortunate that in these matches I played so bad, and I'm sorry to let everybody down. I really am. Like, no one is more disappointed than I am. I promise you that. But I think it's a good thing, though, because in the long term, we knew that this would be a good move, and we expected that there could be shortcomings. It's only been less than 2 weeks we've been doing this. So every day in practice, we're getting on and we're speedrunning these teams. I mean, I'm not going to say the teams that we're playing, but like one team showed up 45 minutes late to our scrim. We finished them by like 4:10. Like, it was like an hour and 30 minutes to play 8 maps, which doesn't usually happen, but that's how fast we beat these guys. Like, a lot of these great teams that are in these playoffs right now, we've been looking really good versus them too, and unfortunately, I just didn't show up in these matches. So I'm the one who has to take my responsibility, and I'm the one who needs to be better, and I know that. So I got 2 weeks until we have this Texas tournament. I have Sean in the house right now. He's playing ranked with the team. All we're going to do is just work hard and grind. We don't like to make excuses. We don't like to sugarcoat anything. Saying excuses, we just had 100 ping in the match, by the way. So yeah, I am making an excuse right now. Like, we had 100 ping in the match, but my guys played well. I played like shit, so I can't use it as an excuse, right? But this is just the way that we think. Like, we just want to work, and no matter what the results are, we expect to win. And when we do win, it's going to be the same conversation. It was great to win. It was an amazing feeling, but we have to focus on the next one now. Like, right now, look, it's not great to not be in the playoffs and miss out on them. It's not great to feel like you're costing the team and you're holding them back, but you still got to move on to the next one regardless. And that's all that our mentality is and our energy is. And I couldn't be happier to be grinding with these 3 guys. And I think our whole team feels the same way too. Like, it's been really fun. And it's just really disheartening that no one's been able to really see the potential that we've been seeing. So
yeah, with time, I mean, but like, I definitely want to hear about, the team and, challenges as a whole, but I want to peel back, the onion a little bit, if you would, because you've been around since, we're the same age, give or take. And, I was just picking up a video game by the time you had, 1 million subscribers. So you've been around the block, you've been on multiple organizations. Looking back to when you first started in this industry compared to what it is now, from a competitive standpoint or from a content standpoint or, a personal standpoint, whatever, how has it changed since when you first started?
When I first started in this world, it was a lot more blind optimism. I feel like now it's a lot more scrutiny. So everywhere you go, everyone wants to know how much money you make, what's your growth, what's your following, what's this performance like with this player or this team? Is their future going to be good based off of this one performance here? This guy didn't do good there, so what's happening there? It's like everyone is so on top of each other now. I don't know if it's because of the pandemic and everyone was on their phones and they're still on their phones all the time. I don't know if it's technology with the way it's going and how convenient it is to access certain things. But back then it was a lot more just ambition. And now it's more like plagued with this sense of entitlement to have access to people at all times, which is something that as life is going on, like in terms of fans, I love fans, but in terms of like people in the industry, man, like just don't come up to me all the time and act like you owe me or like act like I owe you anything. Like I don't, and I'm not going to act like I owe you anything. Like at first, like since we've been coming back to events, there's people in the industry that just like come up to me and they're trying to sell me players to Boston Academy, or like they're trying to ask me what went wrong in our matches or what happened with this and what happened with that. And like analysts that like run CDL teams are like acting like they don't know what's going on with our team when I know that they follow everything that we do, and then they want to know all the little details so they could use it to their benefit. And it's like, I don't need to tell you anything, and you don't need to be involved with any of this. But like, there's just so much scrutiny and pressure on people in this industry, analysts, coaches, you, me, Sammy, who's behind us right now. There's so much pressure on everyone to make the whole thing work, and I think that pressure is either going to make things even better or it's just going to make things fall apart in some cases. But in general, like the ambition was a lot more innocent when I was starting. Now the ambition is more calculated and based off of like selfishness for growth. And I think it's cool to like grow and like have your things and like live the dream. But I don't like the way a lot of people are going about it. And I wish that it was a little bit more like eased up a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully I could be a part of that change.
Yeah, and I feel like, you more than anything, because obviously you're here, so we'll use you as the example. You've come from making videos with you, trying a cheeseburger for the first time, but like now you are playing on Boston Academy. But from what I watched back then to what I met, 2 years ago, you're still the same guy. And I feel like you're very, genuine and transparent and like what you're going to get. But I feel like sometimes in the industry, you don't know the person from behind the keyboard to, what they are in person. And do you think that is like a facade people put on, or, they're trying to play under a personality instead of themselves?
I think a lot of people in the industry are trying to look a lot cooler than what they actually are, and they're trying to fluff themselves up and make themselves seem presentable to others when they're all really the same at the end of the day. I think humans are always going to be humans, and people are always going to be people. People always want more money, more opportunities. And I think in this specific industry, because of how exclusive it is, people are always trying to get their foot in the door with something. And I just think that it's just a lot better to like have a direct thing that you can do to provide for somebody and focusing on that than just focusing on putting on this image in this front of like, okay, like this is what I'm going to be and this is what I'm doing. And then like I see right through all of it because, I want to be in the scene because I love it, not because I need it. And I think a lot of people are here because they do love it, but they need it. Yeah. And it's totally understandable. Like everyone has to look out for themselves, but it's so new, it's so fresh. And I think it's just a little phase that we're going through, and I think it's going to be a little bit better as time goes on. I think people are going to ease up a little bit more and understand, okay, like every 5 weeks we're going to be traveling and seeing each other again. And these late night bars that everyone's going to and drinking at, I'm going to see them again at the next one in a few weeks. And it's like, I got to make sure that I don't slip up and say something dumb because you never know what's going to get used against me or like what's going to happen or this or that or the other thing.
It's like a traditional job. Like when
colors are going to show. Yeah, that's my point.
But like when I leave a job, right? So say I burnt a bridge working at, Joe Schmo's, and I went out in a blaze of glory, yelling at everyone, all this stuff. And then I go to a new job and I need a reference. I have to put these people because that was my previous job. What if they call one of them? And then it was like, oh, like, how was he as an employee? It was like, oh, no, he was great until, like, he cussed everyone out when he got fired, like, blah, blah, blah. Who's going to want to hire that? And it's the same way I feel like with players and people that are, in organizations where, like, if you're a good person, more is going to come out of that than, like, if you are a shitty person for the lack of better words, when you have to use that previous company as a reference.
Can I give you a story about my old FaZe days that just came up because of what you just said? Okay, so guys, way back in the day before the FaZe House in New York even happened, Temper and Banks had an apartment out here in Boston. I don't remember the exact town. It was close to here, though, and I'm sure some of you guys in the comments might know. Please comment if you remember where Temper and Banks came from and, like, the apartment area, wherever the city was, because I know they were very public about it. I just don't remember where it was. But I remember taking a bus from New York City. I took a Greyhound bus. I went to FaZe Temper and FaZe Banks' apartment. They had a $1 million subscriber plaque. I think FaZe Clan had, like, 2 million subscribers on YouTube at this time. And I just got in FaZe, and I looked at it as like a huge opportunity for my life, and I was willing to do anything I can, just win and just be the best I could be. And I remember just going to their house, and they had some party with like a small get together with some of their friends over until like 4 o'clock in the morning. But I had practice the next day, and I think I was teaming with like Formal, Saints, and Dito at the time, and we were like a top 4 team in the game. And I knew that if I could win with this team under FaZe Black, maybe I could like out-compete against the other main team that we had there too. And you know, I just worked so hard, and like they had their little party going on, and they had music playing and beer pong and everything. And I was sleeping in the living room, like on the side of the couch, because I wanted to make sure I got 6 hours of sleep in so that I could wake up the next day, get my workout in, be ready for my practice. And I remember the team went well. I took over the main team. We won, and then I got dropped, and it like sucked. But like my point being is that I could have sat there and felt so like, I still feel some type of way about it, of course, naturally, but I could have handled it a lot worse than I did. I could have said a lot more things that I don't think I ever need to say, and I don't want to let any of those emotions like cloud any judgment or any future like ambition that I have for myself. And I just hope that people that hear this right now, it's like, I was that kid that went on a Greyhound bus to go 4 hours to Boston. I slept in the middle of a living room while there was people partying so I could get my workout in the next day and get some sleep. And I had to take over the main team if I wanted to make it. And I did it the right way is what I'm trying to say. I didn't try to take any shortcuts. I didn't try to step on anyone's toes. I wasn't trying to like belittle anyone or downplay anyone around me. I got what I wanted. I did it at the best level, and then I lost it. And I cried, and it was sad. But I just took the high road at the end of the day. I just took the high road. I kept it to myself, and I just kept it moving. And I just want like everyone out there to know in life, like, you're going to have moments and opportunities, and you're going to capitalize on them if you're lucky. And sometimes it's not going to last forever, and sometimes it's not always going to be there. So that's okay, and that's life. And you always have to be able to have a good sense of just trust in a foundation with the things that you built, and always like hold on to that feeling instead of like holding on to the animosity or the tension that comes along with it all. Because I'm seeing it all around me in this industry, because I'm in this gaming world again. Obviously, I'm in the COD League and affiliated with it, and I love it so much, but all the people around me are feeling this way, and I think this is something they all should hear. Like, you all have your goals and your dreams, and you want to make it. Go make it, and do it the right way, and don't step on people's toes. And understand, even if you make it, like, the only one who really, like, had it for a sustained long period of time is Scump and Optic and Scump, and he did it for 10 years, and everyone wants to chase that in whatever the industry is, but you just got to understand that you're probably going to have to make a lot of sacrifice. You're probably going to have to move a lot. I just drove 4 hours to come here for this podcast. Do I want to drive 4 hours, Chris? No. But I want to see you and Sammy. So, yeah, I'm going to drive. I'm going to see you guys, you know, like, just be willing to sacrifice and be willing to drop your ego and just do what's necessary for the bigger picture, and you're going to get your piece of the pie.
Young people nowadays, right? So we're still young, I would say, but not, you know, as young as we once were.
We're in the prime right now.
We are in
the prime.
This is
the prime,
We
actually.
are in the prime. But I feel like more than ever nowadays, people just want instant gratification, and that might be a result of social media existing, where, like, you post something and you could have 1,000 likes in a couple seconds, and, you know, that's instant gratification. When it comes to chasing a career, chasing that end goal, I feel like a lot of people will give up if they don't see that immediate traction, that immediate gratification, if you would. Maybe that was a little different when we were starting, because, you know, maybe your parents started a company that took them 20 years to actually do. But everything is so accessible now, where I feel like a lot of people are trying things and just giving up immediately. But you have not done that, and and you are someone who was at the high of the high within the league, right? And you're trying to get your way back in, and you have not slowed down with trying to kind of get to that goal. So my question for you is, how the hell do you stay motivated? Probably more motivated and like passionate than like I've seen in anyone in the scene, really.
Man, it's like, okay, so to be a 28-year-old Call of Duty player that's not playing in the Call of Duty League, the only 28-year-olds in the Call of Duty League are Slasher, who's 28, and Clayster, who's 30, okay? So outside of them, I'm the only one, and I'm in Challengers. And in Challengers, we actually have a couple of guys that are in their late 20s. I think Classic's 28 as well. Gunless is probably, how old is Gunless? Is he like 25 now, 24?
I think so, yeah.
Some of these guys in Challengers are getting up there in age too, and it's really cool to see that some of my like players that I've grown up with are still here. But It's so hard to get back in. It's definitely going to be harder with the way I've been playing recently with the AR, but even if I'm winning, and even if Boston Academy is the dominant team in Challengers, I'm looking at like the Rocker Academy team right now. I mean, their placings have been incredible on this game, and even last year too. And those guys have still not gotten any league offer. They haven't gotten any opportunity, no even tryouts or trials for any of these league teams. So it is damn near almost impossible, simply because we only have 48 spots and there's only 12 teams, and half of the teams aren't going to change because they're good enough to win, and then the other half potentially you're going to make changes. Some of them are content with just riding out the year and going into the next year with a new team. So you might have like maybe 4 to 6 spots, and out of those 4 to 6 spots, maybe half of them are subs, half of them are ARs. So maybe you get 3 spots per team per year, and there's like 500 players. So you got to be one of those 3 out of 500 that are going to make it. Like, this is just simple math. And
well, how do you feel about this? This will help you kind of keep going. How do you feel about this statement? It's not enough to just be really good at the game.
It's absolutely not enough. Last year, I got offers to be on a pro team, and I got top 48 on LAN. I was really good, but I got top 48. No one knew how good I was, but the team wanted me there. I could have took it. I could have joined them. I didn't do it because I just didn't think it was going to be a good move. But, like, then I got 4th, and I got top 6, and I beat everyone that joined. Literally every player that got in the league this year, we beat them. And I watched all these guys get contracts, and I'm like, oh, yeah, you didn't do that against me. Oh, you weren't playing good there against me. And it's like, well, that's not my place to say it. I'm happy that they got their deals, and I'm happy that they're getting their situations and their opportunities, because instead of being jealous about it, it's like, people are going to get jealous as hell when I get in the league. People are going to hate that I'm in the league, but people are going to love it. But either way, like, I'm going to get my opportunity. So if people are getting theirs, then I'm just going to wish them the best with theirs, and hopefully when I get mine, I'm just going to do everything I wanted to do with it. So, yeah, I just think that it's hard, and it's more than just being a player. It's more than just performing. And it's not only about performance. It's not only about placings. It's about who you know. It's about what fit can you fill for a team? What need can you fill? For example, Hixie just got on Toronto. He's not a statistical great player. He's a lot like me in a way, honestly. When I'm running a sub, me and Hixie are very similar statistical players and play styles. Standy statistically is better than Hixie. They wanted Hixie on the team over him just because they felt like he'd be a better fit. It's that simple. Like, this whole league and the way it works, man, like, doesn't matter what you're doing. It just matters that you keep going, you have a good attitude, and you just be the best that you can be. If you do all those 3 things, more than likely you're going to be better in scenarios. You're going to have better situations, better teams, better opportunities. And the more opportunities you get, the more opportunities you get to capitalize. And that's really what you got to be focusing on as a player. Don't focus on anything other than that, or anything in any industry too. Just focus on what you can control. It's easier said than done, but when you start getting into that rhythm and that routine of it, it feels very encouraging.
Yeah. Something that probably isn't very encouraging to you, I guess, depending on how you take it. A lot of people refer to you kind of on social. They'll meme you, right? With like the fuck you, Doug, and like all stuff like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes people take it a step further and like just kind of refer to you as a meme, which in my opinion isn't cool. But like, you see the Twitter X talking about all the time. Like, those people on there that are memeing you left and right, like, does that fuel your fire? I'm sure like every here and there, like, it takes a little hit at you. But how does that feel seeing that, so consistently? You can post anything, and the first comment's always going to be the 21 Jump Street. Like,
it was so weird because, like, if anyone put themselves in my shoes, all I did was, like, win, date a supermodel, get glorified for it, and then get shit on for it because I just didn't want to do it anymore. So, like, to go from the high of, like, you're the best, you can't do anything wrong, you're so amazing, I love you so much, and, like, I think I'm a good person and all that, but, like, I don't think I'm this worthy of all this praise. Like, it's like, okay, well, like, I just want to do the right thing. And then, like, when I'm still doing the right thing and I'm going about things the way I think is the right way, and, like, instead of, like, cheating on a girl, I just break up with the girl, and then I get ridiculed for that. If I cheated on her, it'd be even worse. Like, everyone would be like, you're an idiot. I can't believe you do that. You're an actual loser. But people want to call me a loser for that. So it stems from there, and then it goes on to Call of Duty. And then when I don't play good, oh, man, all hell is going to break loose. So, yeah, it's definitely, like, surreal to go from that high of, like, being praised to being, like, shit on. And I feel like if it's going to go like this, then it could also go like that. So it's all about just finding this, like, medium balance to it all. I definitely think that it's just a part of my life. I don't know if it's a motivation in my life. It's just a reality of my life, because my motivation is very simple to me. It's just something that I have that I want in me. And I think when I see all this ridicule on the internet, I just think that a lot of people are very just opinionated on how they see things on a surface level, and that's cool with me because I know who I am and I know what I want and I know how I'm gonna get there. So keep on giving your opinions and be yourself. But You know, if you come in, like the one thing I'll say, if you come into my stream and you want to act that way, I'll just ban you. But other than that, like on Twitter, everywhere else, go crazy with it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
So you just said, talk about your motivation and whatnot. When you wake up in the morning, you're not feeling too hot that day. Like, what do you think about to really like crack you back into things? Like, what's that end goal for you that like keeps you going, or that person?
The gym. I mean, going to the gym is a great opportunity to start your day off great every single day. Even if you don't get a good workout in, I think having a hobby or having anything that's just going to keep you grounded is so important in life. That was the thing that's kept me grounded my whole life is going to the gym and working out. It's just something that everyone should do in some sort of in any type of way. You don't have to be Arnold Schwarzenegger and be a supermodel or any of that stuff. You just got to be able to stay active. If it's going on a walk with your dogs every day for 20 minutes, that's a long time to walk your dogs, but 20 minutes is not a long part of your day. Just getting out and walking and doing something productive is going to make you feel a lot better. You need to have some good blood flow. You need to stay hydrated. Simple things. Those two little things, getting blood flow and staying hydrated, will make you feel so good, and you won't even realize it until you start doing it, and it's free.
Yeah.
It doesn't really cost you anything. Like, that's the point. You got to find things that you could do daily and habits that you could have that are not going to break your wallet, that are not going to stress you out, but they're just going to add to you. They're going to make you feel more on point. Like, I was driving here in the morning, for example, a little bit tired, but I just woke up. I had a protein brownie, and I was like an hour and a half into the drive. I was like, you know what? Like, I feel like very annoyed right now. I need to eat something because I get really like angry when I'm hungry. Like if I don't eat, like I just start getting like very just agitated.
Hangry.
I get hangry. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? Let me stop on the side of the road. Let me get like a half of a sandwich or something, and I feel amazing right after. And it's like, okay, if you know how you're going to feel based off of your amount of food you have or your diet or your routine, and you know that things are going to stress you out or things are going to be uncomfortable, you got to embrace them and you got to confront them. Yeah. Right. So I just think it's those little things, and everyone has their tick. Everyone has their thing. So just finding hobbies that are easy, finding hobbies that are fun, and finding hobbies that don't really cost you anything are essential to like having an overall stable mindset.
Yeah. I know like when I am like looking for that extra for like the reason why, if you would, like my little sister is like, that's my girl right there. So I always think in my head like, all right, cool. Like if I keep going, and I do well, one, I'm a good example. Two, maybe I make a shit ton of money someday and she doesn't have to work anymore. Like, do you have anything like that? Is it financial? Is it just something for yourself? Is it just to kind of prove that you can do this?
Probably my mom, yeah. I'd say, because my mom never really accomplished anything she wanted to accomplish. And she obviously sacrificed a lot for my sister and I because my parents were divorced when they were 3. My mom had to work as a bartender. She got a real estate license as well, but she also worked as a caretaker to these 2 girls that I basically grew up with since I was like 5. So my mom was doing a lot just to stay around in the picture when we were kids, and she really like sacrificed a lot. So then I saw my stepdad. Obviously, he had a good job. My mom got remarried. He had a pretty good job, a carpenter in the union, and he was making a pretty good living. But then my grandparents passed away when I was about 12 and 13. They both went back to back, and it affected my mom and my stepdad a lot. And they started to go out a little bit more. They took some vacations. My stepdad started to drink a little bit more. He ended up losing, I don't know if I should say all this, but he ended up losing his job, and he ended up going on disability as well. So when I started to see the way it was affecting him, I was like, okay, I started to see this when I was like 15 years old. I was like, okay, life is going to hit me in a lot of different ways I'm never going to expect, because I don't think he expected any of this, and he doesn't want any of this. I know damn well I don't want any of this either, so I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure I never put myself in a situation to be surprised if something was to happen to me, right? Like, the whole world can end today. I could get smoked at this Texas event. Boston could say, fuck you, Doug, peace, and kick me off the team, drop my contract, not get $1 from the Boston Breach, and not make any money from these guys, and have them cut me off, and then my whole fan base could hate me, and like I could like get in an accident and like lose my legs, and I'm still going to be happy. Like, it's not going to change what's inside of me. Nothing will break the walls that I have set. And I did it through putting myself in uncomfortable situations and accepting them all the time. And I think if you could put yourself in uncomfortable situations and force yourself to be uncomfortable, then you're going to feel like you could do anything. It's all about just putting time into something and really working hard at it, but having a logical plan at the same time too. You can't be unrealistic with things. People think that I'm very delusional, but I'm extremely calculated with a lot of things I do, and I see a very big picture for a lot of things too. So you got to have some patience, but you also have to be uncomfortable and be comfortable with that as well. Yeah,
I mean, knowing you definitely shoot for the stars. Like, things that you've told me, but like they're very achievable. But like, in my opinion, you should be unrealistic. because, I don't know what the saying is, like, shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you still land amongst the stars or something like that. Like, put your goal all the way out there. Even if you get close to it, you're a shit ton farther than you are right now. And I remember you called me one day, and first thing you said, I think we were supposed to talk about a video idea, and you was like, Chris, I don't know if you know this, but I'm going to be an award-winning actor someday. And I was like, what? All right, yeah, no, like, I believe you, but is this what we're going to talk about right now? So I know that you've made your appearance in Sharknado. Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Will you ever go back, like, into the, the acting realm
It's
when
so
the whole
easy.
Call of Duty
It's
thing
so
is
much fun. Yeah, it's so easy. This right now, this Call of Duty stuff, guys, like, it doesn't get much harder than this. Like, I promise, man, Call of Duty, being a pro in the league and winning a ring is one of the hardest things I've seen. I've been around a lot of amazing people in life outside of the gaming world, and a lot of their success stories, I know a lot of them because they've told me them. It's a lot easier for a lot of those guys than this thing that we're in. This little bubble with the Call of Duty League and the world and we're in, like, it's hard, man. I feel bad for the younger guys, too, because they're not as established and they're trying to make their way and they don't have any education, and they're entering a very volatile time with risky situations. So I feel very bad for some of them. But just to go back to your point, which was...
Would you get back into, like, the acting field at some point when Call of Duty's all said and done?
Yeah, I think you could do them all at the same time too. It just depends on, like, how long of the acting is going to be. Is it going to be a one-time show? Is it going to be a movie? Is it going to be a series? Like, there's a lot of different forms of acting and things that you could do. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's really easy, I feel, and it just depends on what the project is going to be. But
I don't know if it's easy, but I guess your role was, you had to fly a helicopter on a green screen. Did you have any lines? Or
you know what they said?
What?
It couldn't, like, all I had was just 2 lines in the show or in the movie. But, like, the one that I had to do was actually kind of, like, I didn't expect it because they gave me, like, the script and I had a few different lines and a few different things I had to talk with the director. And I'm reading it obviously on my plane, and I'm going over it, I'm rehearsing it in my head over and over and over, and I'm going to see how it's going to go a million times over. Then I get to the set, and I'm out. It's a nice, like, we had this beautiful castle in London, and we had the whole thing and the whole field and everything to ourselves, and we have helicopters and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, like, this is my moment. It's time for me to go. I know this is exactly what I expected. This is exactly what I signed for. And they go, all right, we don't have the chopper anymore for the day. Cut. They're like, I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, we only rented it for half the day. It's 5 o'clock. Literally 5 o'clock on the dot. The dude takes the chopper, flies out.
Jeez.
5 o'clock on the dot. And my scene's coming up, and I'm like, all right. They're like, Doug, come back tomorrow. We're going to go to the other castle, and we're going to film it there in an RV. I'm like, all right, like, cool. And I get in this RV. I don't have the actors with me. I'm just by myself. And I have this, like, headset, this gaming headset, and I have this little plastic joystick in this RV. And they go, okay, Doug, so here's the scene. Because I was supposed to do it in a helicopter, so it was a whole different thing. Now I'm just in, like, a front of a parking lot in some castle in an RV. And they're like, all right, Doug, play around with the joystick a little bit. Pretend that there's a Sharknado brewing in the distance. Start getting a little bit more worried about your ability to be able to drive and helicopter this plane. Start acting like the plane is going to start going down. Start panicking and freaking out progressively and slowly. Look out to the distance more at the Sharknado as it intensifies. And then go back in the back and say, what the hell is going on? Turn back around, and the face is going to get ripped off by a shark. Go. I was like, all right, bet. Let's go. Like, come on, we got this shit.
One take.
And I did the first take. They're like, it's really fucking good. Do it again, though. I'm like, all right, cool. I do it again. They're like, all right, you're done. See ya.
Was it awkward at all?
No, I mean, it could have been, but I, like, saw it. I saw it in so many different ways in my head. I was like, all right, like, they really picked, like, the absolute worst case scenario for me. But I saw this one in my head, so fuck it. Like, all right, we got to do it. Let's get this shit done now. Let's go.
So how do you imagine a Sharknado in the distance? Like, what does that look like?
I mean, like, I don't know.
You're surprised?
I just think about, like, I remember, like, 9/11 when I was a kid and how frightening that was for me. So I always think about that.
Something, like, scary?
Yeah, I just think about that, and I'm like, that was pretty terrifying, you know, because I had to, like, leave school when I was, like, I think 6 years old. Like, my mom come and got me because, you know, the trade center. Like, so I just thought about that. I was like, okay, that was terrifying when I was a kid. Like, let me just remember that. And, like, I remember that feeling when I was in the moment because I'm just sitting there in this parking lot, and it's, like, totally casual. And, like, there's people walking around with their coffees. You know, you got the actors in their trailers on the side, and like, it's just so normal, and, like, there's no sound. It's completely peaceful and quiet, and I gotta pretend like all hell is breaking loose. And it's like, all hell is breaking loose. Like, I'm gonna convince myself all hell is breaking loose. Like, holy crap, like, it's happening. My face is gonna get eaten off by a shark. This is crazy.
The Sharknado was right there, man. You know,
it's right there. I see it in front of me. It's crazy, man. So, yeah, I mean, acting is cool. It's definitely a lot of fun, but I got unfinished business with this Call of Duty thing, and like I said, guys, look, I didn't play well in the last tournament, but that's not going to write my career. I mean, everyone's going to have bad times and bad tournaments, man. Like, I'm going to have good times too. And it's going to be the same thing. I want to keep going. I want to win, and I want to win again, and I want to win again, and I want to win again. And I don't want to stop anytime soon. So, no, I mean, the highs and lows of all this stuff, like, it's all natural. It's all part of it. And you just always got to look forward. But if you want to be in this industry for a while, you got to understand that. Like, it will be stressful. It's going to be tough. And you got to be made for it.
I know you say all the time, like, you'll literally play, into your 40s or whatever it takes to get that ring. But realistically, what would it take for you to be like, you know what, I'm done?
Well, it's funny you say that because, like, I feel with a relationship, that would probably be the only thing that would, like, say, like, I'm done. Like, if I had a family, if I had a child that I wanted, because I wouldn't want to, I know I would be very selfish to say that I'm going to have a family and compete at the same time. That's selfish for me to say that because I'm not going to do that. It's just not realistic. It's to give the time that you need to give to a family, but also to give the time you need to give to your teammates. You got to pick one, in my opinion. I mean, I see it happening in other sports with NFL, NBA. I think their situations are a little bit easier because of the amount of money they make, and they have more freedom, and then the wives could be more at stay-at-home housewives. In our world, we don't really have that with gaming. It's not progressed to that point where, hey, I'm on the Boston Breach main team and I'm making $30 million this year, and my wife could just be a stay-at-home wife, and I can have a nanny on the side as well that does this for them. We're not at that point with this industry yet. So, and we're also at a point with this industry where I would say that we put in more time in this pro gaming world than any sport's doing with what they're doing. I mean, the amount of time we put in is insane. If you look at a day-in-a-day life, like if you look at a day in the life of Jaza right now, he's one of the top-ranked players in the world. He's on one of the top teams in the game on 100 Thieves. He's living in California. He's getting on at 12:30 his time. He's practicing until 8, right? Nice little 7-hour session or so. And then he's streaming for another 5 to 6 hours a day. And he's going to bed at like 2 a.m. and he's waking up and doing it all over. He doesn't have a life. And that's how it's going to be for anyone at the top of their field in a professional setting. But the only difference with our professional setting and like an NFL professional setting is the money. And you can't sustain all of it and have a family right now, I feel. So I think that would be the only thing that would stop me. But I know how much time it takes to be at the top in this thing, and how much time we put in as an academy team this year to do the relationship, man. Like, anyone who's in a relationship, my teammates in one, like, I praise all you guys because I was with Yannette when I came back in World War II with Methods, and I was doing that. And the only reason I think I made it in the league in World War II is because Yannette went to Mexico City to take an opportunity with broadcasting and doing acting over there. So I had more time alone without her in my house. And it was very sad because my dog, I was like neglecting my dog, and I was spending like 14 hours a day straight playing every day. I was the first one on, the last one off every day, and my dog was getting sad, and I was getting sad for my dog, so I got my dog another dog buddy. And like, it's just like you got to put that commitment in. Like, there's players on the Boston main team that work their ass off too. All of them do, but like specifically Vivid. I know Vivid is one of the hardest working players in our scene. Ask him that question about how long do you want to play for, and do you think you could have a relationship when you're playing? He would be lying to you, I think, if he said, yeah, I could totally do a relationship and keep doing what I'm doing. Because the amount of work that he puts in, and that's the thing, he's the competition. So if you want to be able to beat Vivid or team with him or be on that level, you got to put in that same amount of time as well.
If not more.
Yeah. And that's just the way that it is with gaming, at least right now. So, yeah, it's definitely a big commitment. And I do want to play until I'm 40, but I do want to have a family.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that's going to change as time goes on.
I guess it just depends on how quick you have a family. But, so I want to talk about ranked play really quick because you were talking about this on stream the other day, and I agree with it 1,000%. Ranked play is phenomenal for not just the game, but the scene. If you are a kid and you go on MW2 right now, and you're like, oh, ranked play, what's that? You click on it, you click top 250, and then there's pictures of like, Draza at the top, and like, I'm sure, I think Vickel's up there, and Dashy's probably in there, and you see Vivid on there. Like, regardless, say these are guys that you don't even know, and you're like, wait, they have pictures? Wait, there's a pro scene? Wait, like, let me look them up. Like, I saw this guy in the top 250. I just want to look at what they do. I really like this game. If they're that good, I want to see how they play. I think it's great for eyes, too. Not just, like, playership, if you would, of the actual game. How do you feel about ranked play in Call of Duty and just video games in general?
I just want to give a big shout out to Treyarch and their entire team on everything they've developed over these past few months.
This ranked is phenomenal.
We're disappointed that it took this long to come out, but man, you guys did not let us down with the actual product that came out, because what I'm watching in front of my eyes is I'm seeing new nade shots being born. And I talked to Daniel in the league. I was just talking about it a couple weeks ago after the Boston tournament. I was like, dude, we need more superstars. Like, this whole thing isn't going to move if we don't have the nade shots and the scumps and the Claysters and the Crim Sixes. Like, Clayster is 30. There's a lot of talk about him retiring. I don't think Clay should go anywhere. I think he should keep playing. If he wants to play, let that boy play and give him a spot in the league and let him run the team, man. I feel if you've won 3 world championships, you got 1 million followers, and you're still playing well. If you play consistently bad for an entire year straight, I'd give you 1 full more year. And if you still play consistently bad for 2 full years, I'd be like, dude, you got to stop. But players go through their highs and lows. This guy has been on point for a very long time. I played him in Challengers last year. We beat him. He was the best player on the team. He was by far the best player on the team in both those matches we played against him. He went into the league. He's doing pretty decent in the league right now. Could be playing better, but the league is the league. It's going to be up and down. The results are going to vary. All the Optic got dead last. They got 4th. Boston got dead last. They got 6th. A team can get 1st. They can get 8th. I mean, it's just the way the league is going to go, but yeah, I mean, new superstars are being born because of this rank play. I hope it could stay sustained. I think Draza could be a new superstar. I think Scrappy, if he turned his stream on and wasn't stupid, because I'm going to talk to Scrappy like, dude, you got to hit that go live button. You can be a new face of this league. People love your energy. They love your talent. You need to showcase it more. Nadeshot got big because he showcased his personality and he was religious with his consistency and his work ethic in doing so. That's why he owns an esports team. That's why he works with Scooter, Braun, and Drake. That's why he has his energy drink company. That's why he was sponsored by all these big companies and he works with all of them all the time. It's not going to happen easy. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. If you're aspiring to make a brand, even if you're not a league player, but especially if you're one of those 48 guys in the league, and I'm going to tell this to the guys if I see them later because I know they're playing, stream, ranked, play, stream with a webcam, and play as much as you can. You're going to get more views. It's going to feel easy. It's a new wave. It's just like when Fortnite came out. Who was Ninja before Fortnite? Tyler Blevins was a really good Halo pro who I knew about, who was doing pretty well for himself. Tyler Blevins is now Ninja. He's in stores with little characters being sold in Targets. He has his own companies. He's getting $20 million from streaming deals. He's an ambassador for the Detroit Lions. That's the same Halo kid that I knew. Now he's some conglomerate, man. Any of these Call of Duty players that is a nothing in terms of a brand right now can be something like a Ninja, but they need to be able to take the time to put in that work. And that's a conflict we have with the league with the amount of time they have to play. Yeah. So I hope there's a way we can intertwine it all a little bit better. And I think ranked is the easiest outlook to do that. But again, if you're practicing like Draza, man, if you're practicing for 8 hours a day, it's really hard to spend another 5 hours after streaming daily. It's hard for your mental.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got a girlfriend, too. So I have utmost respect for him, man, because I know how that world is, dude. Like, I don't know how he's pulling it off right now, but keep doing it because it's not failing you and it's working, and just keep going.
Yeah, it's so cool, like, to go on my TikTok now, and, like, my For You page is all ranked. Like, it's, like, nade spots and jump spots and wallbang spots, all that stuff. And it's really breathing life back into multiplayer, which I really believe at one point, like, when Warzone dropped, that was kind of like the tipping point for multiplayer.
Oh, yeah.
And all eyes went towards Warzone. I feel like that's kind of shifting.
Look at all those careers that were made from Warzone, too.
But I feel like the tides are turning again.
And look at what it could do for these Call of Duty players. One of my biggest gripes I've always had, because I've seen it as a player and I've seen it as the content creator. I've been on both sides of this coin. I've hung out in both the rooms. I never liked the public, and this isn't on the content creators, this isn't their fault, but I never liked the public persona that content creators like the Aidens or the Biffles or the Repulls, whoever these Warzone dudes are, I don't care. I'm just naming a few of them, that they're in any way better than these CDL dudes. I hated that thing. I love the argument. I love the debate on social media. But to be a pro player and to win a championship as a pro player, it is so incredibly much more difficult, competitive, luck-based to win at that level than to be a guy who gets recognized, that gains traction and gains a following that's average. All of them, in my opinion, are really good players. They're really good casual players. They are not competitive players, but they get all the glory from the casual eyes as the best players. Yeah. And that's not their fault. But when I know damn well that the best players aren't getting the recognition that they deserve, I want them to get the recognition they deserve because I've always chased the greatest in something. Yeah. Always wanted to see what's the best in the world at something. Like, you're the best in the world at the content game and you get eyeballs on you and you're really good at it, but you're not the best in the world at the game itself. Yeah. And I wish that fans would have more of a feeling of wanting to know more about them. And I think ranked is the perfect way for them to. But these players got to start streaming ranked more. And I think they know that. I think the league is all talking about it. All the players are playing more. I mean, out of the 48 players, I think like 10 or 15 of them are in the top 250, which means they're really grinding. So half of the league is playing it. More people are going to keep playing it. I'm going to leave Boston. I'm going to start grinding ranked right when I get home. Yeah. I played it like 6 hours yesterday. Like, that's nothing. I got to play more, you know, like I got to keep growing.
Dude, not for nothing. I believe it might have been his first upload on his personal channel, but Draz's ranked play video.
Oh, I saw it.
It blew up right out of the gate.
Yeah. He's got to keep going.
Yeah.
Oh, man. He could be a big entity in Call of Duty if he keeps going.
I mean, and people like he's very well known and very, you know, respected and liked within the league. Even if you don't like him, you hate him. But, I mean, he's getting talked about regardless. Like, he's a very popular name is what I mean. So if he puts something out there, the people that love him, the people that hate him, they're all going to be there watching it, either to praise him or talk shit on it. He has a great opportunity right now where, like, after that video, I'd be pumping those out a couple times a day.
And he comes from humble beginnings. I remember Challengers, man, that boy was getting top 32.
He's from Alaska, right?
He's from Alaska. He was playing with Pro Loot, Dave Patty, pro players getting top 32 in Challengers. I never forget when he lost Game 5, Crossroads S&D, lost like 6-3, Dave Patty, Pro Loot, Draza, Optimum. Turns the stream off, didn't say a word. Nothing. Just, okay, got smoked. Next. And then, like, you're getting your sub spot on Thieves. You're winning in Challengers, get your sub spot on Thieves. You start, you get benched, you stay in the sub spot, you start again. They sucked a little bit last year. They didn't win a match, right? They went 0-5 in a split. All right, what are we doing? Let's fix it. Bam. Win a world championship. Yeah. Bam. Grind rank. Bam. Get these views on YouTube up. Bam. Now you're becoming something really big, and it all started from nothing other than your dream and your work ethic. Yeah. I love everything about that kid. I cannot wait to see where he goes with his career, and I hope more people could follow suit because he pushes me. Yeah. That's an inspiration for me. I love seeing him work. I love seeing him move.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to know, too, you're not going to compete forever. And I've talked to, you know, when Ben was on the podcast, I talked to him about it, too, where you need to do more outside of the game. And I know that the days are very long. Believe me, I'm here when, you know, the pro team is practicing. And they're here the whole day from, you know, sun up to sundown practicing.
And it's 7 days a week, too.
Yes.
The off day isn't an off day.
No, it does not stop. But, like, at the same time, maybe you know, hire people to run your channels. I know you and I have, like, talked about people doing that, too, where, like, maybe, you know, you dip into your pockets a little bit, you know, here's a couple thousand a month or whatever. Be in my stream, clip stuff, edit it, put it up on my channels. Let's start growing my personal brand at the same time. So when you hang things up, you know, you hang up the controller competing wise, or, you know, unfortunately you get pushed out or something like that. You have a stream to fall back on. You have a YouTube channel to fall back on, a good social presence to fall back on. Because sometimes I get worried about, like, the people in the league that I personally like when they're done competing, what are they going to do? You know, like, so I feel like that's something that proactively has to be done. And it might be naive for me to say because I'm not a player. I've been putting my time in a rank, but I'm no pro. But I feel like that has to happen too, kind of with my content glasses on.
I think you're absolutely right. And like I said, I'm on the other side of it because I'm really full in on as a player right now. Like, I'm not thinking much about content. I'm really, like, about just trying to win and be the best. But I think you're absolutely spot on. I think if these players took a little bit of their money and just, like, I don't need to get involved with their money, but if you could just give something to an editor, someone that you could work with, even if it's not the best quality, even if it's not something that you're, like, 110% proud to post and can't wait to get it out there, put it out there.
Just post.
Get started. Yeah. Like, just go live. Like, Nadia, if you guys know Nadia, she's a streamer. She always says this all the time. She's like, I loved Valkyrie. I loved what she was doing. I wanted to be like her in a way. I wanted to put my spin on my way and do what she's doing. I didn't have any friends. I didn't know anything. I just clicked go live. I said, screw it. I'm just going to go. And I was the same way too. I was like, all right, like, I want to be a Call of Duty pro. What do I got to do? Oh, I want to win. Okay, I got to put in 14 hours. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Go. Do it. Bam. Then 2 weeks go by and I'm like, damn, I really played 14 hours for 2 weeks straight. I could do that for another 2 weeks.
But
and
that's
then a month goes by,
important.
it's like, I did that for a month. I could do that for another month.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I had to make these sacrifices to do it. That was actually kind of fun. Like, you got to put yourself in that mentality. Yeah. And I don't think people want to even get started, but just go.
That's the most important part. People are scared to jump in the pool because they're afraid, you know, what's going to happen.
Exactly.
You just got to go and worry about what comes from it after. Just start because, you know, if you want everything to be pristine, and, like, I'll be transparent. Like, you're going to post your first video, your first 10, your first 20, first 30. You're probably going to get 5 views from your mother, cousin, sister, brother, and yourself on fucking a VPN. You know, but you have to keep going and just get started because once you get started, it becomes a lot easier. It's the fear of starting something that, like, paralyzes people from even trying it in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's how it goes. So we're coming up on the hour. Any final things you want to say, you know, to people out there, to, you know, the Boston fans, to your fans? Anything you want to say before we send this home?
Yeah, I appreciate all of you guys. I think Boston in general is an amazing city. I love coming to Boston as well. I love the people in Boston. And for all the fans of the organization, Hopefully we can bring you championships, not only on the main team, but the academy team as well. I think we both went through a little bit of highs and lows, the academy and the main, but I mean, every day in practice, I could promise you guys, we look good. We look really good, and it's going to start showing sometime soon, and hopefully I could be the one that turns that around, because when I'm the one that's not playing good, I want to be the one that says that. I think a lot of the world loves to criticize me all the time. Look, a lot of the time I feel like I'm not even playing bad and I'm doing my job, but when I'm not doing my job and I'm not playing good, I'm going to make sure you guys know. I got to turn this thing around. It starts with me, and that's something I'm fully responsible and capable of saying and owning up to, because I'm confident that I can do that, and I'm going to do that. So for all you guys out there who support me or the team or the organization, just know that we work really, really hard. And I know that the academy team works very hard. I know damn well that main team works hard too. I think we have one of the best systems in Call of Duty. I think we all work so hard every day. I mean, I'm not going to get into it, but the boys are working on both sides. I know the main team. I know the academy team, the coaching, the staff, Dens, Josh, our coach Mike, Zach, spend our entire lives thinking about how we're going to win. So just know that we put a lot of passion in what we do, and you're not going to win them all, but it's worth it when you get that one. And it's always about looking forward to the next one. So thank you guys for all the support and watching us. Thank you for everything at the homestand as well, because that was honestly surprising. Like, I thought it was going to go well. I didn't think it was going to go that well. So keep that coming, because all we're going to do is just continue to work and just try to give the best results as possible.
Hell yeah. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those good things. And that concludes episode 3 of Quick Fix. I am Chris B. This is Doug Censor. We'll see you next time.